Let's be honest for a second. In the chaotic, loud, and often overwhelming world of modern media, finding a voice that feels genuinely sane is rare. We have plenty of pundits screaming for attention. We have endless influencers chasing clout. But then, every weeknight at 11:35 p.m., a bespectacled man in a sharp suit bounds onto the stage at the Ed Sullivan Theater, does a little kick, and for an hour, makes everything feel a little more manageable. We know Stephen Colbert as the king of late-night TV, but if you peel back the layers of satire, political jabs, and Lord of the Rings trivia, you find a story that is profoundly human. It's a story about tragedy, resilience, and the terrifying bravery it takes to drop the mask and show the world who you really are. This isn't just a biography of a comedian. This is a look at the unlikely emotional journey of a man who decided that the best way to handle the darkness of the world was to laugh right in its face. The tragedy that stopped time. To understand the Stephen Colbert we love today, the one who can switch from a silly gag to a deep philosophical discussion about grief in seconds, you have to go back to a quiet morning in South Carolina, 1974. Stephen was just 10 years old, the youngest of 11 children. He was the baby of the family, living in a house loud with laughter and debate. But on September 11, 1974, his world collapsed. A plane crash claimed the lives of his father and his two nearest brothers, Peter and Paul. Imagine being 10 years old and having half your world vanish instantly. It's the kind of trauma that breaks people. It's the kind of darkness that makes you retreat. But for Stephen, this shattering loss became the crucible for his comedy. In interviews, he's been heartbreakingly open about this time. He has said that he loved the thing that he most wished had not happened. Why? Because that pain forced him to look at the world differently. He realized that life is absurd, unfair, and chaotic. And his defense mechanism? Humor. He didn't become funny just to get attention. He became funny to survive. He used jokes to cheer up his grieving mother. He learned that if you could make someone laugh, you could pause their pain, even if just for a moment. That is the superpower he still wields today. The man who played the fool. Fast forward a few decades. Stephen is grinding through the Chicago improv scene at Second City, where he met legends like Steve Carell and Amy Sedaris. He's talented, sure, but he hasn't found it yet. Then comes The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, followed by the cultural phenomenon that was The Colbert Report. This is where the genius kicked in. For 9 years, Stephen didn't play himself. He played Stephen Colbert, a bloviating, conservative, fact-averse pundit who invented the word truthiness. Think about the mental gymnastics required to do that. Night after night, he stayed in character. He interviewed presidents, authors, and scientists while pretending to be an idiot. It was high-wire satire. We loved him because he was saying the quiet parts out loud. He held a mirror up to the absurdity of American politics and made it hilarious. But here is the catch. Masks are heavy. Wearing a persona protects you, but it also keeps you hidden. By 2014, Stephen was tired. He had mastered the art of playing a character, but he was ready to do something much scarier. He was ready to be Stephen. The terrifying pivot. When David Letterman announced his retirement and CBS named Colbert as the successor, the skeptics were loud. He's too political. He can't interview people without the character. He's going to alienate half the country. And let's be real, the first 6 months of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert were rough. You could feel the tension. He was trying to figure out how to be a traditional host. He was trying to figure out what to do with his hands without a prop flag to wave. It felt like watching a friend struggle, didn't it? We wanted him to win, but he hadn't found his footing. Then, something shifted. He stopped trying to be Letterman. He stopped trying to be generic late-night host. He leaned into his strengths, his sharp political mind, his unapologetic nerdiness, and his massive heart. He brought out his real wife, Evie, and showed us a glimpse of a loving, playful marriage. He started talking about his Catholic faith, not in a preachy way, but in a way that explored doubt and hope. He let us see the man behind the glasses. The interview that changed everything. If there is one moment that cemented Stephen's status as a legend, it wasn't a political takedown. It was an interview with Anderson Cooper. Cooper, who lost his mother, Gloria Vanderbilt, asked Stephen about his philosophy on grief. Stephen looked him in the eye and said, "It's a gift to exist, and with existence comes suffering. There's no escaping that." He went on to talk about how grateful he was for the grief because it allowed him to love. It was raw. It was unscripted. It was spiritual. It went viral not because it was funny, but because it was true. In that moment, he ceased to be just a comedian. He became America's dad. He became the guy who tells you, hey, the world is scary and bad things happen, but we're going to get through it together. And we're going to laugh while we do it. Why we need him now more than ever. So, why does Stephen Colbert matter? Why do millions of us tune in or scroll through his clips every morning? It's not just because he's witty, though let's face it, the man is a walking encyclopedia of knowledge. It's because he represents a blend of intelligence and kindness that feels endangered. In an era of cynicism, Stephen is earnest. He loves Lord of the Rings with the unbridled enthusiasm of a teenager. He loves his family. He respects his guests. He calls out injustice, but he does it with a twinkle in his eye rather than a snarl on his lip. He teaches us that you can be smart without being mean. You can be religious without being judgmental. You can be heartbroken and still be joyful. The lesson for us. Stephen Colbert's journey from a grieving boy in South Carolina to the king of late night isn't just a celebrity success story. It's a blueprint for resilience. We all wear masks. We all have things we're hiding from. We all have truthiness in our lives where we pretend things are fine when they aren't. Stephen's career challenges us to drop the act. He showed us that the most engaging thing you can be is yourself. Whether he's roasting a politician or geeking out over Tolkien, he is authentically, apologetically Stephen. And that connection, that genuine, human spark, is what converts a casual viewer into a lifelong fan. So, here's my question for you. When you look at your own life, where are you playing a character? What would happen if, just like Stephen, you decided to drop the act and let the world see the real, messy, brilliant you? It worked for the kid from South Carolina. I bet it would work for you too.